Hello and welcome. This is Calvin Starr, and you're joining us for a new webinar series. For some of you it's old, but hey, it's based on Napoleon Hill's A Year of Growing Rich, 52 Steps to Achieving Life's Rewards. And so what we're going to do in this webinar series is we're going to get the most out of the book and the process. And I love the fact that it's broken up into 52 weeks or 52 chapters, because what I want you to do with me is to take 52 weeks and 52 chapters and just break it down, because you know what? Success is not overnight for most people. There are some people that have been working at it and they hit it big and everybody thinks it's easy, but the truth of it is that your success should be a process, and it should be something that you are excited about and that you commit to every single day, every single week, every single month, and every single year. And so this is a great book and a webinar series that I'm going to create here to really help you understand what it's going to take to be consistent and be focused and to grow, because that's what's going to change your life. That's going to be what's going to change your network marketing experiences as well, because that's what I'm going to base this series on, is really that direct sales, network marketing, MLM, the pyramid thing. Right? So let's focus on that, because if you're going to make changes, you've got to do it a step at a time. So let's jump into it. This is chapter 1, week 1, and this title of this chapter is No One Drifts to Success. And Napoleon talks about this, and I want to share it with you because he says focus on one thing. But again, this is network marketing. So let's focus on one position, okay? You don't need to try and build out 2 positions or 3 positions, or your brothers and your sisters and your mothers and your daughters and your dog. I've seen people build it for dogs, right? So focus on one position, because that's really what it's going to take to get you to the next level. The second thing is obviously focus on one company. I've tried it. Even after I had made great money in network marketing, I tried to build 2 different ones, and sometimes some in 3 and 4, thinking that, this is going to be great fit and all this kind of stuff, and it never works. I don't know anybody personally that has more success in just one company than somebody who has it and try to do 3 or 4. It's usually a dabbler who does the 3 or 4 different companies, or even try to do 2 companies, and it never quite works out for them. So focus on one company and make that your commitment for the next 52 weeks. And then, for me, I always get very specific in this, and here it says wanting to make more money is drifting. And for me, that's true, because it's not specific enough. It needs to be something tangible and attainable for you to really understand and stay focused on it. Because making more money is nothing more than making an extra penny in the following week or the next year or whatever. You've made more money. So technically, right, and unconsciously, it's something that will get to you and not give you what you're looking for. Be a little bit, not too dreamy, because we're going to be taking action here, so there's not going to be too much of a dream state. But really focus on what exactly would you like to cover for right now, or what would you like to make right now, and really get out of that and start to create that focus that we need to create success. So what is your purpose? And you need to define this. Jim Rohn talks about it, knowing what your why is. And this is your purpose, and I touch on it in a lot of different places, but I want you to realize, and this is just my perspective and it's my belief, and so I'm going to say, here it is, and if you like it and it feels good to you, then by all means take it and run with it. But your purpose should be about you and about what you want to do and to accomplish. The purpose of what you're doing is not for your kids, it's not for your spouse, it's not for your mom, your dad, anybody else, because you know what? You could do so much for somebody else, and the truth of it is that sometimes they just don't appreciate it. And so let's stay true to who we are, because I believe that if you take care of yourself and you do things for yourself, then everybody else around you will benefit from it, because you'll be more fulfilled, you'll be more happy, you'll be more, just on it. And so let's talk about that when it comes to your purpose and making it about you. It can't be, I'm going to do this for my kids, because they will grow up and, they're going to be gone and out of the house. But in the meantime, they're not going to appreciate truly what you're doing. And so find another way so you don't build up resentment as you're on the phone or building your network marketing business, and they're sitting there looking at you going, you never spend any time with us. And you're be like, wait, I'm doing this for you. It's like, no, they don't care. All they want is a mom and dad. And they just want that, and that's all they need. They don't need you to be a superstar. They don't need you to, have an organization over 100,000 people. They just need you to be mom and dad, which is a very simple thing for them. Now, through defining your purpose, your action plan and results will begin to take form. And we see that a lot with, once people get clear on what they want, all of a sudden it's like magic, where everything starts to come together. Ideas come together, thoughts come together, people start to show up in your life. And so by doing this and putting your energy into what your purpose is and what you want to accomplish and what you want to do, everything else starts to come into creation. Now, if your purpose is to be the top affiliate, let's take an example. What does that look like? What does that person act like? What does that person do on a daily basis, do every single day? Who does that person contact, and how do they get started? Like, do they start off with like just a membership and see how it's going to be, or do they go all in and really create something, that's memorable? And so you have to ask yourself, what does that top affiliate look like? And if you're lucky enough, right, you're already in a company that has affiliates that are out there doing it. And so you have to really understand and study them. And I was listening to a book on audio before I got on this webinar, and talking about like just studying other people will allow you to be able to pick up and upgrade your software, so to speak, your mind, your memory, your habits. And it will allow you to upgrade and say, you know what, I like that. I like that about that person. I like that about Steve Jobs. I like that about Bill Gates. I like that about Richard Branson. And really start to add some of those things into who you are. And that's how we ultimately become who we are today. It's about taking little pieces of, oh, I like that. Oh, I like this. Oh, this is fun. And then creating who you are along the way. So what is your commitment to attain your purpose? Because this is a great one, and I've been listening to a leader, a friend of mine. She's in a network marketing company, very successful, and I liked what she expressed the other day. I was listening to her yesterday, and she said, when you have a decided heart, meaning that you've made a decision, and which is what Tony talked about, was the Latin decision comes from to cut off. So when you have decided on what your purpose is, decided on who you are, that is really what's going to happen in your life, so that you can actually create that success. Because once you decide something, that there's nothing left. Like if you've decided that you're going to reach a certain rank, guess what's going to happen? You're going to do whatever it takes, because there is nothing more than that. And this is also that whole thing about throwing your hat over the fence. Because once you throw your hat over, it's an Irish thing because they love their hats, right? But once they throw that over the fence, they know that they have to go over. They have to find a way to get into it. So find out what your commitment is and really get truthful and honest and say, you know what? If I go to my best friend and they look at me and say, oh my God, you're some scam artist in some pyramid scheme, or is that going to shake you? Because if you're committed, it's not going to shake you at all, okay? You're going to stay focused, stay committed, pat your friend on the back and say, it's okay, everybody starts out somewhere, and move forward. And you're going to have so much posture and confidence in what you do that you're going to overcome any objections that are coming towards you. Does the first roadblock deter you, or do you find another way around? And again, that's the whole thing about what we just discussed, which is throwing your hat over the fence, or throwing your body over the bar, or throwing your mind over the bar, and your heart or your body will follow. There are so many great examples of how to overcome all of these obstacles that you may or may not face. It's going to happen. So you better prepare for it now. Don't live in this fantasy world that you're never going to get rejected, or you're never going to come against an obstacle, or you're never going to have a challenge. Always know that it's coming. And so what are you going to do to find another way around? So here's a great question. Do you often lie to yourself? Do you often lie to yourself? Does that really sound as crazy as it is? Because I know that we all lie to ourselves. Some of us lie to ourselves, some of us lie to other people. But I think the one big lie that we all need to realize is that we have so much more within if we would just get rid of that fear of failure or fear of rejection and go out there and create something and not really care about what other people are thinking about what you're doing. Everybody is going to disbelieve the unbelievable until it happens. That's just the way life works. So look at that and ask yourself, how often do you lie to yourself? And if you find yourself lying to yourself, then make it a point to create something in your life that you can overcome and that you can turn that lie around and make it a truth for you. Okay? Now, a life's purpose is not just a weekly or monthly or yearly thing. What are you doing daily to attain it? It is something that if this is who you are at the core level, right? If this is something who you really want to become and who you want to be, and then you would be doing something for it daily. It's kind of like children. You've got to treat this like a child at times, where you don't just take care of a child once a week or once a month, right? You take care of a child daily, hourly. You constantly are thinking about it. It is something that goes through your mind every single day, every moment of everything about that child's health, that well-being. And that's what you have to do with your purpose. It has to become who and what you are. It doesn't mean throw yourself into it and totally neglect everything else in your life. I believe in balance. And it's something I've struggled with in the past. And so I'm working on it, trying to create that, okay, how can I do what I want to do and also live in my purpose, but also have relationships, right? So, because a lot of people get completely swallowed up in this, and a lot of it at times is because of survival. And so that's what causes people to drift back and forth from this thing to that thing, and then they never really create what they want to create. It reminds me of Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar used to say, when you're at work, you're thinking about home, and when you're at home, you're thinking about work, and so you're really never anywhere. And if you're never really anywhere mentally, you're never going to get anything done. You have to stay focused. You have to create what you want to have and do what you want to do, but you've got to be there and be present with it. It's a lot like relationships. You can't be unpresent with somebody and have them feel appreciated. So, remember, your purpose is never about making money. Okay, that is a survival thing that we all know, and I know that money takes care of everything that we need to have it take care of, like internet that you're watching on, your computer that you bought, your phone that you bought, the service that it has. So all these things require money, but your purpose is never about making money. Making money is just the byproduct of all the services. Okay, money is just that; it's a byproduct. It just comes because of what you create. And Tony Robbins describes this best in his book. And it talks about money is all it is an exchange of value. And so if you're not making money, chances are you're not providing value to people, which is a slap in the face for a lot of us. And so when you look at what you are making and what you're doing for it, you've got to equate that to a certain amount of value. And so money is just the byproduct. So get rid of that and go, okay, what can I do to go out and create value? What kind of a purpose of my life can I create value with? And what is your service that you are providing? Because everybody needs to know what they're going to be getting, especially if you're going to be, a top leader in the industry, and people are going to look to you for guidance and leadership and all of these things. So what service are you providing? How are you carrying yourself? How are you carrying your company and your product and creating that success for you? So think about that as you start to work on that purpose and work on that idea of what you want to do and create. I'll give you an example. Microsoft. The purpose was to put a PC in every household. That's what Bill Gates wanted to do when he started Microsoft. He's like, my vision is to have a PC, a personal computer in every household. And I remember when I first got my Commodore 64, and it was just this piece of thing, and it had a keyboard, and I taught myself how to type, and then it had a cassette player for the drive. I mean, it was insane. But I remember hearing that and going, my gosh, man, like, to get everybody to have a PC, I just don't see how it's possible. Like, I couldn't understand. Of course, I was 13, 14 years old, but I couldn't comprehend the idea of putting a PC in every household. And if you look at it, it's pretty darn close these days to having some type of an electronic PC, personal computer, whether it be a cell phone, a tablet, or a laptop, or a computer in every household. There's so many devices out there now. And what a great time it would have been to get involved in Microsoft. Of course, we've always heard that story. So the other thing that you need to do to make sure that you don't drift is, what are you going to do to hone your skills? Are you going to commit to this type of a webinar? Are you going to commit to listening to a book on audio? Are you going to commit to reading a book 15 minutes a night? Are you going to commit to doing what you need to do to improve yourself? Because the last thing you want to do after you graduate high school, college, whatever, is stop learning. And it's one of the things that I've done. I mean, you can see back there, I've got a bookshelf full of books that I go to. The computer right now is on a stack of books that I'm sending out to a few people because I believe in just kind of pursuing that and also encouraging other people to pursue it as well. So you have to find out, what can you do on a daily basis. A daily basis, not, it doesn't have to be an hour a day. It doesn't have to be just 15, 20 minutes like my meditations. It's 20 minutes a day, twice a day. So what can you do for that time? Because if you can't carve out that time in your life, you got bigger issues. And I love Gandhi when he said it. He said, I've got so many things to do today. I'm going to have to increase my meditation from 1 hour to 2 hours today. And it's because when you take care of yourself, when you nurture this thing between our ears, and you really do what you need to do with it, you're able and capable of figuring out so many different things to do, and you do it at such a different level that you get much more accomplished than most people do all day. And that's because of what you're doing up here when you hone your skills. You do not get better in life by playing small. If you want to be better, then you have to play against someone that is better than you. And that's how I learned how to play golf. That's how I learned how to ski. That's how I've learned how to play poker. Like all these great things. I play against people that are much, much better than I am, because when somebody is better than you, they push you to become better. And so it's a natural progress when you play against somebody who's better than you, that you have to exert more, which causes you to end up getting better. And a lot of times the student does surpass the teacher because they're required to come up with new things, new ideas, new places, new things. Like all these things are going on. And so you need to create that for yourself by putting yourself in a space where you have to really play big and really do great things. And that is, like for me, I can learn to be financially free, but taking it to the next level for me now is about teaching others to do it with me. So I've gone out and I've created success in multiple companies, and I've created that and helped other people create that freedom financially. Now, the trick is in network marketing, and you'll understand this because most people don't get this. They just think, I'm going to get network marketing, it's going to be great. But they don't realize the number of challenges that you face, because you're going to be dealing with people and working with them and helping them cope and helping them grow and leading them and guiding them and nurturing them and all of these things. And most people don't get that. They just see somebody walking across the stage with a $100,000 check and think, I can do that. I can walk across stage. But there's so much more to it. And so you've got to find a way to ramp it up for yourself. What do you need to do to create this ability and this level of putting yourself out there so that you can create that success in your life? Now, act with purpose and a plan. When you don't really have the success or the greatness that we all are seeking in our lives at the certain level that we want it to, in order to figure out like, okay, I've got to at least be this good in order to achieve this. It's not true. Act with a purpose and a plan. Act like this. Act like you have a purpose. Act like you have a plan, and put together those purposes and plans, and then take action for them. Like I said, when you start to think about your purpose and your plan, it will all start to come together. You'll start to have these ideas. You'll start to meet people, and all of a sudden all the dots will start to connect. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I can introduce you to this, or I can do this or that, and it starts to come together. But you have to act. You can't just always plan, okay? What money-making activities are you going to do today? So you've got your purpose, you've got your plan. What money-making activities are you going to do today? What are you going to do today that is going to create value, which is going to, in turn, potentially make you some money? So you have to ask yourself that question the best time to plan is the day before. So tonight, you would plan for tomorrow. And you would ask yourself, what are my money-making activities that I'm going to do tomorrow? And so then you would write those things down. And those are your absolute musts, your vital factors is what some people call them with MAP. So your vital factors, what are your vital things that you have to do tomorrow in order to make sure that you stay on your purpose and your plan? One of the things that I would do if I were you is small steps each day. Don't try and do 14 hours tomorrow, right? It's not going to work. you're going to burn out within a couple of days, if not a week or a month, right? It's not going to be a long sustaining thing. So we want to take small steps each day. And maybe it's 10 emails, maybe it's 5 phone calls, 3 follow-ups. And those things start to grow as you become more in your rhythm and what you're doing and how you're engaging people. I remember when I first started out and I had a credit repair business, I was afraid and really just timid and shy about, working with people. So I would leave voicemails on people's machines, and there's apps on their phone that you can just go straight to voicemail. But I would leave voicemails because I didn't want to talk to them. I only wanted to talk to them if they wanted what I had. And so I would perfect my little script about credit repair and what I did and what I could offer. And then if they called me back, then it was like a totally different thing. It wasn't like a cold call and I was trying to convince them. It was like, hey, here's what I do. Here's what I guarantee. Here's what we can work on. If you're interested, call me back. And if they called me back, guess what? I knew they were interested. And so it was a different thing. Now it was about, hey, let me provide you this service and value. And that's what I did. And so 10 emails, 5 phone calls, 3 follow-ups. You do that every single day. And you start to build the muscle. It's the repetition. And next thing you know, then this is just part of your daily thing. You're part of your daily habits and you do what you do. And then you can increase it. And then at the end of each day, what you want to do is ask yourself, what is your ultimate purpose? Like, what was the purpose today? What did you do for your purpose today? Because we want to celebrate all the successes. Reminds me of another webinar that I'm working on as well. And it talked about how, we always focus on our failures and what we did wrong and how we could have done it better. The truth of it is, though, is that we need to focus on our successes and replicate those successes, okay? So what did you do for your purpose today? What worked? What didn't work? And then also, what are your plans tomorrow? What are your plans for tomorrow? Again, that's the key here is you plan your day, you plan your tomorrow today. Okay, that way when you wake up first thing in the morning, you don't have to worry about anything. You know exactly what your vital factors or your most important things are that you're going to do, and you make them happen. And schedule it. Like if you know that your kids are at school from 8:30 to 3:30 in the day, schedule your time. What do you need to do? Do you need to go to the grocery store? Do you need to do your emails? Do you need to make your phone calls? When do you need to do those things so that when your kids come home, it's going to be okay that you've gotten everything done that you need to have done, and now you can be present with your kids and watch your relationships in that area grow, right? So that's the first chapter. No one drifts to success. And that's really the focus here is like just kind of putting your roadmap together about what you want to create. You want to take the time to put the energy in to kind of plan your vacation, so to speak. Let's get on the road. Let's do our thing. This is chapter 1, week 1. We've got 51 more chapters and weeks to go. So take the time over the next week to really put together your plan and really put some energy into it this week. That's all you have to do for the week is to put together your plan. You don't have to start worrying about taking the action tonight or tomorrow. If you want to, great. I believe in that wholeheartedly. But the big thing here is to make sure that we have something so that we don't drift from it. So put together your plan, put together your action steps, schedule it, and let's start to create that. Start with tonight, scheduling your time that you're going to put the time and energy into your purpose and your plan. Okay? Let's do that. I'll see you next week. Thank you, and live with purpose.